everybody. I hope you guys have been enjoying your spooky season so far. Today we're going to be reading In the Walls, Brahms X Listener Up in Here. We are currently in chapter 14, but we're going to go back a chapter for the purpose of the recap. So, extremely long story short for this one, they basically went shopping and they went to H&M. They were finding styles of clothes that would better fit Brahms, that would fit his a more modern style. And he was like a little kid at the store the whole time. And then eventually, after they went on a little shopping spree, they went home, got some food on their way back, and yeah. That was kind of it for him, for them. For the warnings going into this video, there will be mentions of RAPing, not very descriptively, but it is descriptive enough to where I didn't fully read it, but it's gonna get pretty dark. Drugging someone or tampering with their drink. Beating somebody's butt and killing somebody. And there will just be some overall trauma going into this story. So, tis y'all now aware. And if y'all's uncomfortable, please do not watch this video. Without further ado, y'all have been warned. Chapter 14. Note: there contains mature content in this chapter. Trust me, it's not smut. The next day, I went to go get the mail and saw a big, heavy box on the ground near the mailbox. I had trouble picking it up, so I asked Brahms to pick it up for me. He picked it up so easily, as if it were a box of feathers. He wore the jacket I picked out for him yesterday at the mall. We were planning to go there again because I needed to find a job, and they were hiring at a bakery and pastry shop in the mall called Sweet Tooth. Me and Brahms sat in the living room floor together. "What do you think it is?" I asked. "I'm not sure. It doesn't say who it's from," Brahms answered. I grabbed the box cutter and revealed 3 black bags. We took each of the bags and unzipped them. I pulled out a bundle of cash that was wrapped around in paper to hold it together. My thumb moved across the edge of the money. All of them were $100 bills. "It's my parents' money," Brahms answered. "They sent it here before they—" Brahms couldn't finish his sentence. He stood up and I saw tears coming from his eyes. I dropped the cash in my hand and got up immediately. "I don't understand why they had to leave me. They said that they couldn't live with what they let me become." He turned around. "They did everything for me. I can't believe they're gone." My heart sank. "It's good that you're crying. It means you have feelings. The reason why it's terrible. The reason why is terrible, and I could never imagine how it felt to know that both of your parents committed suicide instead of trying to help their son. They didn't give in any effort." I walked towards Brahms and opened my arms to hug him. My little arms wrapped around his waist. My head laid on his chest. His body felt so warm. Brahms turned around and looked down at me. Tears stopped coming out, but there were wet trails down his cheeks. I wiped them with my thumbs, and Brahms rested his hands on mine. He stared at my lips, and at that moment, I knew what came next. He leaned his head down lower and came to a stop. To show that I was okay with it, I lifted myself up. Our lips touched, and before you know it, we started kissing, one after another. I wrapped my arms around his neck as I lost myself on his soft lips. His hands were on my hips, and his thumbs began rubbing them. A small moan escaped my lips as we broke the kiss. I looked up at Brahms. He stared at me with lustful eyes. Then he smiled and lifted me up bridal style. "What are you doing?" I asked, still laughing. "Shh, don't ask questions," he said. His voice suddenly very, his voice suddenly grew husky. I didn't say another word as he carried me up the stairs. My room or yours? He said. He asked. Mine, I said. He nodded and walked into my room. We continued where we left off, except we laid on the bed. His kisses ran down my neck and started sucking on my skin, leaving invisible hickeys that will make an appearance later on. We began taking each other's clothes off. He stared at me in amazement. It was his first time seeing a girl like this in person. It was a little awkward. Brahms noticed that I was getting uncomfortable, so he stopped. I'm sorry, I've never. I know, I said. Just follow my lead. Our kisses were deep and passionate. Our hands interlocked, so we were, It was really cute, even though we were both really shy. Brahms, move a little more to the left, I said. I didn't mind that he didn't know what he was doing. I guided him along the way, and afterwards, it felt a lot better. He loosened up and started to go with the flow. You couldn't tell if it was his first time. After we finished, I laid next to him, my head laid on his chest and his arms wrapped around me. After, we fell asleep but woke up later at 4:30 in the afternoon. And then this is the author's note. Before you make a comment about wanting more details, please read below. It also stated in the beginning that there was no smut. It's just basically they do not feel comfortable writing smut. Completely understood. It's alright. I understand. So that's why I wasn't like super detailed. Thank God. I don't think I'll be able to I was holding back here. I was holding myself back, trying not to laugh as I read it. Okay, but cause honestly I get so awkward. Thank you. That's all I gotta say. Chapter 12. After waking up, we put our clothes back on. I was wearing a blue jean skirt with a long sleeve black and white striped shirt and black booties. We went back to the mall to continue what I was going to do, to get a job application. Brahms waited on the bench outside the cafe. There was a man in a black uniform, different from all the others. I guess he's the manager. Hello, may I have one of your job applications, please? I asked. The man checked me out and then said, Yeah, I'll get them for you. 1 sec. He went through the double doors that read employees only and came back with papers. Why don't you fill out those papers now, and when you come back, I'll hire you right away. Wait, are you serious? I asked, grabbing the papers and pen. He winked. Of course, you fit the job perfectly. You look like a barista and you're pretty, so you'll charm everyone. What is this guy even talking about? Okay, wow, thanks. I guess I'll be back, I said. I exited the cafe and told Brahms what happened. Well, that's great. You got the job already, he said. I peeled the papers out and gave them to the manager. I tried looking for his name tag, but he didn't have one. My name is Matt, by the way, he said. I guess he saw me looking. Why don't we discuss more things in the back? Yeah, I said, nodding. I followed him to the employees only area. There were 3 doors, one on both sides of the wall and one straight ahead. He led me to the one on the left and we sat down. My eyes ran across the room while he examined my papers. There were lots of trophies, books, and plaques. Do you read all of these? I asked, pointing to the bookshelf. He laughed. No, they were there to impress. They're there to impress. The trophies are mine from high school and college, to intimidate. I'm not impressed nor intimidated by you at all. He was pretty handsome, though. Nicely combed brown hair, big hazel eyes, a great smile, and dimples. He looked about me or Brahms' age. So, he said, while taking a quick look at the papers, trying to find my name. YN. You can work at any hours any day, which is great. For now, you'll be training with the people that will be working with you soon. That requires you to clean well, work quickly, and be able to memorize orders and how to make the drink, etc. You start your training tomorrow at 2 p.m. Wear a white button-up shirt with black bottoms and black shoes while having your hair tied. That'll be all. If you have any more questions, here's my card. He handed it to me. As you can see, I do things differently here. I'm kind of throwing lots of info quickly to you, but that's how it's going to be here. We are always busy, so we got to do things quick. See you tomorrow? Yeah, thanks, I said as I got up and left. That was so much to process. I don't even know some of the things he said. He talked so fast. Chapter 13. I put on the only white button-up shirt that I had and some black skinny jeans. I left for work and Brahms came with me. He really liked going to the mall. He stayed outside of the cafe on the bench near the pretty fountain. Sometimes he would get up and walk around, but not for long. He'd then come back and sit. The first day of work was fun. The customers were so nice. The only thing I didn't like was the manager and the employees. I'd always catch the manager checking me out and bossing me around more than the others. Maybe it's because it's my first day, but something is definitely off about him and the employees. They give me dirty looks all the time. I would ask for help, and they'd reply with a mean tone. Like one time, I asked for help because I forgot how much vanilla syrup to put, and a worker named Sarah asked, "Can you read?" I put it on the notepad over there. I replied with a, "I'm sorry, it's my first time. I'm nervous. You're so nervous that you can't read?" That one was that was the that was one rude incident I had. "Hi, what can I get for you today?" I asked to a girl in her teens. She wore a short pink skirt with a pink tank top that was so showy you could see her bra. Can I get a venti iced skinny cinnamon dulce latte with soy milk? Will that be all? I asked. I wasn't done, she snapped. I want to I want half the pumps of the cinnamon dulce with foam and whipped cream, one scoop of the salted caramel thingies, and we'll mix with cinnamon on top and a drizzle of chocolate syrup. I'm sorry, could you repeat that a little slower? Oh my gosh, how did you even get a job here? She yelled. What the fuck? I told you. The manager then came over and helped out. He got the order done right away. I looked at him. I'm sorry. It's okay. Happened to me the first time I heard her order. She only gets that, and after the fifth or sixth time, you start to memorize it. He patted my back, telling me to get back to work. After 6 hours of working, it was time to leave. Whenever work ends, the manager lets us make our own drink to take home and leftover pastry or dessert. I grabbed a brownie and made a hot caramel drizzle coffee for Brom to eat and drink. As I was walking to him, someone had bumped into me. It was one of the people who worked with me. His name was James. He had thick eyebrows and light messy brown hair and was pretty short for a guy. The coffee spilled all over him and the brownie was crumbled in my hand. It covered his white shirt, and the shirt clung to him so that he could see his stomach through it. He screamed, oh my God. He screamed in pain and looked at me, eyes blazing and nostrils flaring. Ugh. I just stared at him in shock. I'm sorry, I apologized. Oh, bloody hell. He yelled. You stupid girl. I was about to go back to work after my. you st- I'm gonna sound really dumb when I say this, guys, so just ignore it. You stupid girl. I was about to get back to work after my girlfriend broke up with me and then this happened. I'm sorry, I repeated. You think I give a shit? Why don't you quit your job and go work somewhere else? You're lucky I'm a man. If I wasn't, I would have been the living shit out of you. I felt my eyes start to water. Are you gonna cry now, you big baby? Go back to America. What? I put my head down and let my oh, shit. I put my head down and let my hair fall all over my face to hide. I felt his hand on my shoulder. I was nudged aside, and then I heard James speak again. Who the hell are you? I peeked up through my hair and saw Brahms, who moved in front of James. He stepped closer, that he was now towering over him. Brahms mumbled something to him, and the small man scrunched up and held his hands up. All right, no need to do that. I'll apologize, okay? James turned to me. I'm sorry, Wyan. I'm really, really sorry. I gave him a small nod to say it's okay. He looked at me and Brahms one more time before going into the cafe. The crowd of people around us continued to what they were doing. Let's go home now, Brahms said. I grabbed his arm and clung to it before walking. Brahms? I asked. He looked down at me. What did you say to him to make him apologize? Nothing. Don't worry about it, he replied. Chapter 14. With the money Mr. and Mrs. Househier left us, we bought a new house. If anyone finds the body of his parents, the police will show up at their house, so we had to leave right away. Brahms and I cleaned up pretty well to take away any evidence that we were there. The story was a two-story. The house was two stories. It had a garage, a kitchen, a bar in the basement, an attic, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 6 closets, a living room with a fireplace, and a little spot near the living room for reading. I stored most of his books in the bookshelf, and the rest were put in the attic. It felt really cozy here, as if I were at home. Brahms was still trying to get used to it. It was different but he liked it a lot more, since this place was less creepy. The house wasn't far, and from the mall. This house wasn't far from the mall, so I was able to work at the cafe still. A few weeks passed, and work has been much better than before. I arrived home from work and found Brahms sitting in the living room reading. Brahms, guess what? I said as I sat next to him. He placed the book down on his lap. You know how the people at my work didn't like me? Yeah, he nodded. They apologized and said they wanted to be my friend, and I'm having them over as guests today. Brahms looked unhappy. No. He shook his head. He bolted up and looked at me. No guests, remember? Brahms, please, no! He yelled, which made me jump. Tell them you're not feeling well or something. They can't come here. Even if it's a new house, some of the rules will apply, especially the rule of having no guests. Not long after, we heard knocks on the door. I knew you were going to say that, so I told them to come here after work. I told him. Brahms turned towards the wall and pounded his hands on it before heading upstairs to hide. I opened the doors and saw Sarah, Jess, and my manager, Matt. Let's get this little party started, Jess said, raising 2 bottles of wine. Chapter 15. Note. No new friends. No. If you get what I just did there. Also, I'm so sorry I forgot to put pictures. On some chapters, there are some notes where I talk about the picture and I didn't even put one up. But to upload pics, you need a URL. Why can't I just upload them from my phone? Sad face. Warning. This chapter and the next included parts may be sensitive to some readers. Matt entered with a box of beer and Sarah with a huge bag of food. You can put those on the table in the pool room, I said, as I guided them. Sarah took out 2 bags of chips, dip, buffalo, and barbecue wings, and with a veggie platter. Wow, you didn't have to get all that, I said. Actually, thankfully you did. I don't have any food at the moment. Is this like a new house or something? Jess asked. Yeah, I bought it yesterday, actually. So let's make this house a warming party, Sarah said. Okay, I laughed. After we played some music, ate, and drank together, it was starting to get late. I was worried about Brahms. He hasn't eaten anything in a long time. While everyone was busy dancing together, I grabbed some food and a beer upstairs. When I came back down, they asked where I went. Bathroom, I replied. Later, Matt came over to me with 2 glasses of wine. He held one of them for me. Oh, no thanks, I said. I don't drink that stuff. Only wine coolers. Come on. What are you going to drink then? You're right, I said, as I took a glass from him and took a small sip. The wine had some weird white stuff in it. You know, and then this is whenever you gotta be very... So, if this is where I'm thinking it's gonna go, guys, there are really bad people out there, especially when you go to the club, you get a guy or anybody buys you a drink, they could potentially slip something in it to make you more unaware of your surroundings, make you pass out, all sorts of terrible things. So, please be careful. Most people of all sorts of ages watch my videos, so I'm not, it's like you just got to be careful. It's gone so bad to the point where people have made literally a nail polish that you can put on your nail, and then it tells you within seconds whether your drink has been tampered with or not. There's even been a whole company, like I can search this up if I'm lying. Of people, it's basically like a scrunchy thing where inside the scrunchy there's this whole like cover where you could cover your cup, and the only thing that fits in there is like a straw or something. There is either the reusable one or they have one that are single use. Um, yeah, ladies and gents, it's gone really, really, really bad. So just be careful. If I really know where this is heading, please, please be careful. Let's continue. That's my girl. He cheered. How does it taste? Horrible, I said while taking another sip. When I finished my first glass, I started to feel dizzy. The room started turning and I suddenly collapsed on the floor. After I saw three figures approaching me. I couldn't speak or move. My body had no energy. There was something in that drink. Take her clothes off, I heard Matt say. Of course, Jess said. They were all intoxicated. Oh, hell no! Okay, so I'm not going to read this to you guys because it gets really, really dark. I'm going to skip a little bit of it because that's even a little bit uncomfortable for me to read. But they're basically RAPing her, all three of them. So, and they were recording and laughing at her. Let's skip a little ahead, guys. Not enough to where we don't get, It says, okay, let's start here. When Matt was done, there was a loud bang coming from the stairs. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Brahms came out, which made Jess and Sarah scream. Brahms ran at them and struck them both in the face, making them knock out cold. Matt got up off of me and stood. Brahms looked down at me and then back at Matt. He looked at the sight. His pants undone and me laying there with only a bra and panties made Brahms explode into even more anger. Brahms grabbed Matt by the neck and started choking him. The grunts coming from Brahms were aggressive as he started slamming Matt's head onto the table. Every time his face was lifted from the table, it would get more and more disfigured. Brahms came towards me after. I'm so sorry, YN, he cried. I should have came down here before this happened. It's not your fault, it's mine. I found some strength to lift my hand to touch his cheek. I need to hurt your hand to... What? Hurt her hand on something? Oh, okay. I need to hurt your hand on something, he said, to make it look like you were the one that punched them, okay? I'm sorry, love. It'll only sting a little. Brahms took my hand and made it into a fist. He grabbed one of the books from the shelf and counted down. 1, 2, 3. He said as he slammed the book on my knuckles. My mouth went wide as I let out a soft, muffled scream. It would have been much louder if I was able to. I looked at my hand and saw that it was badly bruised. Brahms then started to kiss them to make the pain go away. I'm sorry I hit you so hard. I need to make it seem real. After, he handed me the phone to call the police. I have to go before they get here. Call after about 10 minutes, okay? When they ask you questions, tell them all you remember was what happened before all of this. Why did this have to happen? If I never believed that they wanted to be my friends, this wouldn't have. I wish I listened to Brahms in the first place. He wouldn't have to kill them. I wouldn't have been RIP'd. We wouldn't have had this problem. See, that's the error of the ways. People like that deserve the death penalty. I don't know how people can do that and then live with their lives knowing that they did that. But death would be too sweet for those people. So, Brahms kissed my forehead and left. When the 10 minutes passed, I called the police. I dialed the number and just listened to the operator. 999, what is your emergency? Hello? Can you talk? I let out a small cry. Don't worry, we're tracing the line right now. We'll be there soon. Stay on the line. The operator could hear me crying. It's all right, calm down. The cops are on the way, she said in a sweet voice. Before they arrived, Jess and Sarah began to wake up. Perfect timing. The police had arrived and arrested them both. I was brought to the hospital along with Matt, who ended up dying later. Chapter 16. Note: only 3 more chapters after this. It sucks that it's coming to an end. I really enjoyed writing this. The doctor kept me at the hospital for the day until I completely felt better. It just takes time for the drug to wear off. After I recovered, a few investigators came into the room. Hello there, Ryan. I'm Detective Brady, and this is my partner, Alice. We're here to ask you some questions. Okay, I said. You tell us everything you remember from that night, said Alice, who held a notepad and pencil. Detective Brady held out a recorder and pushed the button. I'm here with Ryan, victim of the REP and attack on August 12, 2016. So, what do you remember? I don't remember much, I said. I just remember walking up on the floor with my coworkers around me. I saw Sarah and Jess on the floor and Matt's head laying on the table. There was so much blood. There was no way I could get up and walk. I didn't have a lot of strength to lift up my body. How were you able to get to the phone? If you can't get up, how did you get to the phone? You were laying 4 feet away from where the base stand is. There is no way you could have gotten to it, explained Detective Brady. I stayed quiet. Ryan, was there someone with you? He asked. My palms were getting sweaty. I started getting lightheaded as the two looked at me waiting for an answer. Detective Brady and Alice looked at each other. He sighed. We have some evidence that someone was there. That person killed Matt, attacked the 2 girls, and gave you the phone to call the police. The thing is, I don't understand that there was no forced entry. When we asked Sarah and Jess, what they remember was that they were sure it was only them and Matt who came over for the party. I must have forgotten to lock the door after, I said. Alice nodded. That could have been it. Detective Brady is thinking a bit too much. Detective Brady gave me one last look before he headed out of the door. Alice stayed with me. So, I have compromised with Detective Brady, and we have agreed that what happened was that they set you up. They plan to convince you that they have changed and decide to be your friend. When they came over, they actually gave you a drink that left you paralyzed for a while. After the sexual abuse happened, and the person who helped you is a hero who we decided to leave out during the sentence of Sarah and Jess. The judge will give them the sentence tomorrow at 8 a.m. in Wingminster Supreme Court. As soon as it is decided, you'll be notified. I suggest you stay with a friend or relatives for a few days. We send some people to repair and clean your house. The bill will be sent to you later. When she left, I let out a big sigh and laid back down on the hospital bed. That was close. Chapter 17. A week passed since then. Everything was back to normal, except Brahms wasn't there. He hasn't came back yet. Every morning before I go to work, I sit on the steps to my house, waiting for him to come. At night, I can't sleep knowing that he isn't by my side. And when I do sleep, it's because I was crying. When he doesn't come, I go back inside with the door open but the screen door shut. I can still look out to see if he'll show up. I called my new boss and tell him I can't work today. Again? He asked. This is the 4th time already. If this keeps up, I'm gonna have to fire you. I head to the living room and curl up into a ball on the couch. I began crying obnoxiously, tears flowing out like waterfalls. Brahms left me. It was nighttime now, and I was starting to get sleepy. I haven't gotten up from the couch since, only occasionally getting up to use the bathroom. Suddenly, I feel warm, strong arms embracing me. I know that touch anywhere. It felt like Brahms. I'm having another dream about him, aren't I? And it always ends the same. I wake up, and it's all just a dream. I open my eyes and let out a growl, angry that it wasn't real and he wasn't there. But I could see the big figure in black curly hair, and it wasn't fading away. His head was buried in the side of my neck. He was kneeling down in front of me. Brahms? I said. I felt his head nod against my skin. Tears were unable to come out since I cried so much before. I pulled him away from me so I could see his face, his eyes full of guilt and sadness. Where have you been? I asked. I thought you left me. I would never leave you, he said. He held my face and kissed me. I'm so sorry. I love you, Ryan. I don't know when to come back. I thought about you every second. I missed you, I said. Later, I explained what happened while he was gone. He was glad that they decided to not look into the case much. He thought Sarah and Jess would have been sentenced to life instead of 30 years. You should take a shower. It's been 7.5 days since you've had one, I said. Brahms looked down at himself and agreed. Care to join? He joked. Yeah, right. I laughed. Maybe next time. Are you serious? He asked. Just hurry up and take a shower. You smell. Chapter 18. Note. Get it? Masquerade and masquerade? It's stupid, isn't it? I thought it was cool while I was writing it, but now I don't know anymore. Anyways, chips or fries, I'm here. The last chapter is coming tomorrow. Thank you for reading this far, cries. Brahms, I said, waking him up. Guess what? I knelt next to him and bounced on the bed, happily. What is it? He asked. Look, I asked, handing him a flyer. Masquerade is coming to town. He read aloud in his deep, raspy morning voice. People of all ages are welcome. There will be rides, games, prizes, food, and much more. Dress accordingly. You cannot enter without a mask. Will take place on the 1207 Bank Hall Street on August 20th from 10 a.m. to midnight, which is today. Doesn't it sound like fun? I don't know, he said. You can wear your mask there. It's like showing your face without actually showing it. So you want to go? It'll be a fun date. I guess, he agreed. When I was done with work, which was around 8, we left to go to the parade. I let Brahms take a trip around the mall and buy me a mask while I was working. As we arrived, Brahms took out the bag with our masks in it. He showed me the one he picked out. It was pink with pretty feathers, beads, and gems. Oh my God, Brahms, this is so pretty, I shrieked. It was a little bit pricey, but it was the best one there. It looks good with what I'm wearing, I said, as I put on the mask. How do I look? Beautiful, he said. Luckily, I was wearing a mask. My cheeks were probably as red as cherries. You look cool, I complimented him. We got out of the car and walked a few feet before we reached the entry line. There were a bunch of people with awesome masks and outfits. When we made it to the front, they gave us a stamp on the hand and asked if we wanted to get our pictures taken. We can print out your picture whenever you'd like. Right after I take the picture, or before you leave, said the girl with the camera. I looked at Brahms, who shook his head vigorously. Yeah, I said, we'd love to. I took Brahms' hand and headed over to the green screen. It's not like you have to smile, Brahms. 1, 2, 3, said the girl and snapped the pic. Here, how's this? I looked at the picture and smiled. It was so cute. Brahms had his arms around my waist and I was leaning into him with my hand on his chest, with one leg lifted up. Can you print the picture out for us right now? I asked. Sure thing, she said. You know, you guys are the cutest couple I've seen so far, and the weirdest. You have a beautiful, elegant princess and a creepy but handsome boy. Thanks, we said, not sure if we should take it as a compliment or not. We walked around the area. A portion of the place was blocked off for parades and floats. There were a few games like balloon darts, water gun race, picking up ducks, knocking down the bottles, and ring toss. Scattered around were food trucks and food stands selling seafood, Asian food, Mexican food, and some desserts. In the middle was a stage. In the middle of the stage was a DJ and a big dance floor. What do you want to do? I asked. Brahms shrugged. How about something to eat? Yeah, let's look around. We scanned the menu from every food place and we decided to get seafood. Brahms paid for our meal. I got the fried scallops and chips, fries, with slaw, and he got a fish taco with pico de gallo and chips. We sat on the wooden table and ate. Instead of taking off the mask, he just lifted it up just enough so that he could eat. How is it? I asked. It's good, but really messy, Brahms said while wiping his mouth. Can I try some of yours? Yeah, I said, as I gave him a bit of everything with a fork and fed him. Tastes better than mine. After he finished his food, I still had some of mine left over. Whenever I looked at Brahms, he was always eyeing it. You can have the rest, I said, as I handed it to him in the styrofoam box. After, we played some of the games. Chapter 19. We went to the ring toss first. We weren't able to win anything there. Then, we went to the water gun race. It was me against Brahms, 2 little children, and a few adults. Ready? Go, said the man behind the counter. I squirted my gun at the moving and swirling target, following it around in circles. Ooh, looks like number 7's in the lead. Number 6 is close behind. And oh, it's not looking good for number 4, said the man. Brahms was close behind me, and at the last second, it looked like we were tied. But the light across from me glowed, and the bell started ringing. We have a winner! Number 7. You can pick anything on this middle row right here. I'll have the cow, please, I said. Next, we went to the duck game. There were a bunch of ducks moving around, and you can pick up one, only any one. When you look at the bottom, there is a color. If you get a yellow, you pick a small prize. Green, a medium prize. Blue is large, and red is any prize. I went first, and I ended up getting a small duck. Brahms got the blue color. He chose a brown teddy bear and that held a heart that said, I love you on it. He held it out in front of me. For you, he said. I took the teddy bear and hugged it like a little kid. Brahms grabbed my hand and pulled me towards him. He wrapped his arms around my waist and looked down at me. He kissed the top of my head. How about we leave this place and go home? I agreed, and we left. When we arrived home, we both changed into our pajamas and laid on the couch together. We faced towards the TV, me in front, pushed up against Brahms. There wasn't much space on the couch for the both of us to be lying there, but we were still comfortable. We had a blanket covering us, candles were lit, and the warmth of Brahms' body was relaxing. Later, Brahms started shuffling around. He put his arm around my waist, and his leg was wrapped around me as well. He dug his head into my neck. I could feel his chest rise and fall, his breath fanning along my collarbone. I hope that made sense. I wish we could stay like this forever. YN? Brahms said in a quiet voice. Are you awake? Yeah, I said. I never really tell you how or what I'm feeling. I keep those things to myself most of the time. I'm grateful to have you in my life. You changed me for the better, and I can't ever repay you for doing that. Thank you for helping and staying with me. I turned to face him, our faces really close to each other's. You can repay me by loving me forever and staying by my side no matter what, I said. I brought my hand to his cheek, and he closed his eyes at the touch. He grabbed my hand and kissed it. Then he looked at me with those deep brown eyes and kissed my lips. Then I'll love you forever, and I'll stay by your side no matter what, he said. The end. This is a little note from the author. Thank you so much. How was it? Did you enjoy reading? What did you like about it? It's sad that this story has to come to an end. But don't fret. There is another fanfiction I wrote. It's called Goodnight Kiss. Anyways, thank you for reading. XO! So guys, we completed In the Walls Brahms Ex-Listener. I guess there was a reason that I was like, suspecting the manager, and then that turned from 3 to 100 really quickly. Enough of me rambling. Let me know what you guys thought about the story in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions and possibly theories. I don't really have per se any theories, comments, or really concerns. It was just mainly me that little bit with the manager part. But anywho, guys, I hope you did enjoy this story and this video. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. Your girl's sadly got to go, but don't worry, she'll be back soon. I shall see you guys in the next futuristic video. Love you guys, appreciate you guys, and thank you for supporting me and the authors that have beautifully written all of these stories and whatnot, because I've realized just how much stories I've truly been reading to you guys, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But it shall grow only more and more with the years. Anyway, guys, I shall see y'all in the futuristic video. Bye and peace, y'all.